this is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? This is going to be a part 2 to the video I put up yesterday. It's 30 books in 30 days for September. I'm doing a mashup of Framed in September, which is focused on art, and something that I saw at Luminous Libro's channel, 30 books in 30 days for September. So I'm doing 30 picture books. I did 12 yesterday, and so I'm going to do the remaining 18. I'm pretty sure I've got them all here. Maybe I'll count them as I go. And I forgot to include a book yesterday when I was talking about my September plans. I'm actually adding one more book, but this is an audio book, and it's Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens. And Kate Howe's Victorian Book Club is reading that for Victober. And I joined Kate Howe's Victorian Book Club a few years ago, and then I drifted away. And I never meant to, leave entirely, but I just kept not going back. And I had actually been thinking about reading Our Mutual Friend for what's become an annual thing for me, and starting in October and then November and December, trying to finish up by Christmas, I would listen to Charles Dickens novel on audio. And so I was thinking about doing that with Our Mutual Friend, and then I heard that they were reading it. So because it's a big book, they're doing it, they're starting September. So I'm going to listen to that. Right now I'm looking for a used copy of the book. I tried to find it yesterday and I couldn't. I went out for a little bit. I'm going to do a book haul, maybe next week. But yeah, so I do like to have the book in hand because I'm not a very good audio listener and I miss a lot of details and I get distracted and then I can't remember where I was in the audio book. So I like to have the actual book on hand as a reference guide. And sometimes I stop listening for a while and I'll just read and then go back. Anyway, I think I can do it because I think I'll have enough free time. And since it's an audio book in a different format than just sitting and reading a book, I hope that I will also be able to fit that in September, even though my plans are pretty ambitious. And I'm not even telling you all my plans. I have a bunch of other things on the burners as well for September. Anyway, let's get started on the picture books. So this first one, these are in no particular order. The ones I did yesterday were ones that I had specific days or a specific time in September that I wanted to read them. But these are just sort of all over the place. So the first one is The Story of the Root Children by Sybil von Olfers. And she was, here, I'll show you the picture. She was an illustrator. She was a German illustrator around the turn of the last century. I think like the late 1800s, early 1900s. And she was a nun and also an art teacher. And these books were really popular in their day. And I realized that I got this one and the Elsa Beskow that I showed you yesterday, which is in the same vein, from Florist Books. And Florist Books is a Waldorf publication. So if you're familiar with Rudolf Steiner and Waldorf education and anthroposophy, they just sort of adopted this one. I don't think the nun was into anthroposophy because you're not supposed to be, because Steiner's Waldorf stuff it's a weird mashup between Catholic stuff and kind of Eastern religions, and it sort of comes out of that whole time period, like with Houdini, with all the seances. And he didn't believe in seances, but it was a big cultural thing to be into this, a lot of Eastern stuff and kind of spirituality kind of stuff. So anyway, so Waldorf's kind of got that. But anyway, that's the publisher, Florist Books. They do publish some really charming books. And so I found this unusual. I thought it was, it's just got those darling kind of fairies or little elfin creatures. So yeah, very charming. So that's one. And then this one is not so much beautiful art, but this is a beloved book in this house. I knew an old lady who swallowed a fly. This is because my husband remembers his mother saying this to him. And as a little kid, like when he was 3, he could say the whole thing. And so he would always say it to our kids. And we really enjoyed, these are very silly illustrations, but this is a nice rendering of this little children's, I don't know what it is, poem, chant. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's funny. So yeah, so this is another one. Oh, this is a classic. This is another book that we got with that Simply Charlotte Mason. I don't know if I read this to my own kids, but I remember reading it when I was a kid. And when I rediscovered it, when they sent it with Simply Charlotte Mason, I was like, oh yes, I remember this book. Millions of Cats. Award. Newbery Honor. Okay. And again, the illustrations aren't really artsy, but they're just really charming and just captivating for children, you know. And I love just all the energy and movement in these types of sketches. So, yeah, so Millions of Cats, that's a good one. And then this one also has fascinating art that has a lot of movement. And this is a great book if you homeschooled. So this is by Jonathan Bean. This is my home. This is my school. And this is just so, really on papers there. This is just so funny if you've homeschooled and you know how crazy it was. There's a schedule of what you're gonna do and you know what the house always looks like, because there's always people living in it, including many small children. Yeah, this is just really, really delightful book. So, yeah, highly recommend this if you have homeschooled or are homeschooling. This is a lovely one that, I don't know, when did this come out? Sister Anne's Hands, Mary Beth Lorbiecki, illustrated by Kate Wendy Pop. I love the illustrations in this. They're absolutely gorgeous. So this is a really sweet story about a young girl, maybe it's based on the author's own experiences, who has an African-American teacher, a sister comes to teach at her school, and just the things that happen. So yeah, this is a really sweet book, and the illustrations are just gorgeous. All right, so then I have two that were written by Catherine Lasky. This one was illustrated by Kevin Hawkes, and this is the librarian who measured the earth. So this is about, I always say his name wrong. It's Eratosthenes. And way back in the time of the ancient Greeks, he figured out that the earth was round. So it's a myth that people didn't know that the earth was round. And so this is I remember reading this to my kids when we were homeschooling. So it's a well-written book, and the illustrations are great. So, oh, look at this. A schedule? What is this? No, this is something different. I thought it was something from homeschooling that had been in there, but no, it's just a random paper. Anyway, so Catherine Lasky wrote this, and Kevin Hawkins illustrated it. And then she also wrote this book, and you know, I don't remember reading this book. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. Now both of these are sort of upper elementary, because there's a lot more text in these. But this is called Born in the Breezes, The Seafaring Life of Joshua Slocum. My husband read his memoirs. So this guy in the, 1800s sailed around the world by himself. And this is illustrated by Walter Lyon Crudop. So it's got gorgeous illustrations. Look at that. There's like a glare. But yeah, absolutely beautiful illustrations in this book. So I'm looking forward to reading this one because I know about him. I know of him, but I have not read this book. And then let's see. Here we have a classic. Ezra Jack Keats, Whistle for Willie. Now this, to me, I love the illustrations in this. And I feel like this guy got the perfect combination of sort of the modern, reductionist thing to shapes and patterns. And yet it's really charming, and all the different patterns and colors all work together really well. Let's find another. Just look at that wallpaper. So yeah, this is a classic. This is a good one. So I'm going to read that one day. This is another one. Again, it's sort of more upper elementary, maybe, and I've never read it. It sat on my shelf for at least 20 years. I've never read it. It's Peter the Great by Diane Stanley. I know that she's a popular illustrator, and she writes these informative books. But here's some of the illustrations. The other page. So yeah, this looks really interesting. I can't believe I've never read it before, but I'm looking forward to picking that up one day in September. This one's a classic, Make Way for Ducklings. And this is, you know, again, it's a different, it's not as artsy, and it's not even colorful, but there's just so much movement and detail and charm in the illustrations. It's just wonderful. This, my grandson, who's now a 4th grader, absolutely loved this book, and I had to read it to him every day for, you know, weeks and weeks. He really knew it. We had to go up to Boston when my son got married, and he was the ring bearer. We flew into Boston Airport, and they have a wall where they have this scene painted. But it's in, I don't know which scene it is, but it's got all the ducklings, and I think the police officer is painted on the wall. He was so excited when he saw that. So, yeah, so this is a classic, and I love the illustrations in it. This one I also remember reading to my children when I was homeschooling, but I've forgotten a lot about it. I mean, I barely remember it. It's The Glorious Flight Across the Channel with Louis Blériot by Alison Martin Provenson. It's winner of the Caldecott Medal. And what I like about it is it looks like old-fashioned photography. Like it's, what do they call that? The daguerreotype, or whatever the word is for that kind of brown tinted photographs that are so old-fashioned when photography first came out. And it kind of echoes those colors. So it tells the story about this Frenchman who flew across the channel in the very early days of flight. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. This one is by Catherine Patterson, or reimagined by Catherine Patterson. I recognize her name. Illustrated by Pamela Dalton. I've shown this before. This is an absolutely gorgeous rendering of St. Francis of Assisi's prayer, the Canticle of the Sun, or she calls it Canticle of the Creatures. But this has the most gorgeous illustrations in it. Can you see? I feel like there's more glare today somehow. Just absolutely stunning. I just love it. Yeah, this is breathtaking. Look at this. Just absolutely beautiful. Sorry about the glare. Anyway, so that's one I'm going to read as well. And you know, September 1st to October 4th is the season of creation that many Christian groups celebrate, including the Catholic Church. So it's a time when we remember God's creation and we try to honor him. Speaking of that, this is I Am Earth's Keeper, written by Lisa M. Hendy, and I remember her name from my homeschooling days, and I guess she started writing children's books. This is illustrated by Giuliano Ferri, and this is a lovely story about a boy going out, I think he's fishing, or he's out canoeing with his grandfather, and he has this beautiful, like, ascetic experience where the sun comes up and it's reflecting in the pond so much he can't tell what's the sky and what's the water. It's absolutely beautiful. And he realizes that he's part of nature and that he has to take care of it. He has to take care of the earth that God gave him. And it's just absolutely gorgeous illustrations. So this is a lovely, lovely book. Let's see, this is a fun book. It's playing around with the names of groups of animals. So a pandemonium of parrot, a company of angelfish. This paper isn't as shiny, so it doesn't glare as much. A sloth of bears. Let's see. A flamboyance of flamingos. So I just love the playful, colorful pictures in this one. Just an army of frogs. Oh yeah, this is a fun book. And let's see, the next one. How am I doing here? Already 16 minutes. Wow, that's crazy. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. This was a Netflix special. This was, I don't know how I heard about this book, but, you know, it's about the boy who wanted to get water to his village. Now, where was he? What country was he in? In Malawi. And he figured out, but the water was too deep under the ground, like the wells would dry up because they hadn't gone deep enough. So he figured out how to, he taught himself basically engineering, and he figured out how to make a windmill that could run a pump that would bring the water up from the ground. So, and he made, you know, he was global news, and they made a Netflix series apparently about him. I haven't seen that, but anyway, the illustrations are great. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. Oh, this one, oh, this has coffee stains on it. This is, I think this is the second one I got. My oldest daughter, or my biological daughter, is named Hannah. And I got this maybe before she was born. And it's Mary Sabina Russo. I think she did the art as well. And I read this to her. I read it to all the kids. It got really beaten up, and then I bought a new one. Here they are standing in line. Just the illustrations are just wonderful. There's one I really like. Where is it? Where are they? I love this one of the backyard baby shower. Everybody's doing something. They got gifts. All the green trees. But where's the one? Oh, and this actually happened to me. I actually went to a baseball game, and Hannah, when she was in utero, was doing a lot of kicking. She was cheering for the team as well, and that happened. And yeah, I love this picture. There's something really peaceful about this picture. So yeah, so this is an old family favorite. This has really silly art, but it totally works with this book, which has these fantastic, funny little poems. And it's How Do Pirates Take Baths? That's one of the poems, by Kathy Tucker, illustrated by Nadine Bernard Westcott. And these are just goofy pictures, but they're just splendid for what they're supposed to do. So there you go. So I'm going to read that. And the last book, this was another book that we got with Simply Charlotte Mason. And this was another book that was a favorite of my grandsons. And I read it over and over again. It's by Olive Sr., illustrated by Laura James. Anna Carries Water. And it's about a little girl who's the youngest in her family. And they all have to go they live in Jamaica. They all have to go for water. And she's the only one that doesn't know how to carry water on her head. And here they are. Look at this. The water. Getting the water for the family to bring back to their house. And here they are all carrying the water on their heads. I can't really see when I put the book up. I can't really see what you see because the book is in the way. But anyway, Anyway, this is a lovely, and this has more of that folk art kind of illustration, but it works. It really works for the story. So, yeah, so those are all the picture books that I am planning to read in September. So I better end because these things are getting too long. So I hope you're doing well and happy reading. Bye-bye.